Hi, hello. Welcome to the episode of Isaiah's Newsstand. It's your host, Isaiah Edwards. The date is April the 6th, 2026. Hopefully this episode finds you well, in good spirits and high hopes. As for me, I'm doing pretty good. Happy Monday, happy Garfield Day, everyone. Hopefully this episode finds you well. Hopefully you had that lasagna. As for me, it was good. I got my serving. Overall, it was a solid day. We did things a little bit different because this week is dog sitting week. So I actually had, I came into work an hour later. But before work, I actually decided, hey, let's just go ahead and get our groceries that we didn't get Sunday because, I don't want to be caught lacking. So I got, I took a quick grocery run early in the morning, the old Kroger, and got everything, which was nice, solid, in and out. Then got home, got ready for work, and work was overall a good day. I will say I had a bit of an annoying moment at work because of coming into work an hour later. Our new ADP system, blah blah blah. I'm not gonna say it has kinks in it still, but it totally is not working. 100%. It just is what it is. It works well enough. But I had noticed when I was clocking in and then taking my breaks and I was like looking at my time card, it's like saying that I like didn't clock in. And I'm like, dude, what the hell? And then I get like a call from my lead and essentially telling me to go to another supervisor because my supervisor is out for Holy Week. So there's that. That's a thing. So I sit down with the supervisor. And he proceeds to ask me what I pretty much know he's going to ask me is like, hey, like, why are your punches weird? And I'm like, man, I don't know. like all I know is I called out, I have this whole situation for the whole week. I explained it to him. And luckily there wasn't any issue here. It was just annoying to kind of have to like reiterate the thing that I've said at least 3 times at this point to either a supervisor or a lead and enter this in. So, the best laid plans, but overall, there's no hassle here. It was just like a moment, if you will. Overall, though, work was good. There really wasn't any problems. I got to stay on the crusher all day, so we love to see it. Post work, we went to the dogs. We went to see the old puppers, and they're doing pretty good. This is my 3rd time dog sitting. And this felt very old hat to me now, which was good. I kind of came out or, got them up, got them outside. They did their little business and we came back in and I went home. I will add that for some reason throughout the entire day, I've been so tired. And I woke up maybe about an hour or so early, but that being said, I had a good nap last night. So I don't really know why I was so sleepy, but I felt so compelled to just take a nap, and I think I slept for like at least 2 hours, something close to that. So I get up, I go to the gym. Gym was super packed. I pretty much just did a little bit of this and a little bit of that, and I think it was maybe about a 30-minute gym situation, nothing that deep, and went on my merry way. After that, I came home, did a little bit of research. Well, actually, what I did was I did my stretch, had a snack, which I have to add on the snack that for Easter, I know, 35 years old, I still get Easter baskets, which is very cute. I appreciate my family friends for making them. Part of the Easter basket was some beef jerky, like, it was supposed to be like a little bit fancier, but we're talking like Kirkland. But still, Kirkland brand is solid. I would definitely take a Kirkland brand over a Kroger brand, I'll say that much. But I had some beef jerky, and I had some nacho cheese. And I dipped a couple pieces of beef jerky in the nacho cheese. That kind of went nuts. It kind of went crazy. That was very yummy. Also, this is a random aside. addendum, maybe. I don't even want to say correction, just adding on. Easter dinner, I forgot to mention Easter dessert. I had a piece of cheesecake, which y'all know is my favorite dessert, with a side of cherries and a side of berries. It was so good. It was so yummers. I was kicking myself for not mentioning it, but I did post it on my story on the old Instagram. So yeah, let's see. I had my snack, had my stretch, all that good. Did a little bit of research, and then went to go see the dogs one more time to close out the night, make sure they did their business. They did. So yeah, fingers crossed that they sleep well. And then let's see here. Came back home, and here we are, ready to yap, ready to talk about the news. So yeah, it's been a bit of a busy day. I'm sure it's going to be a bit of a busy week. But hey, we're going to make the most of it. We're going to try to get, as much news covered, as much pumped action in as we can. And, that's the move. That's the groove, baby. So yeah, let's go ahead and do our startup and let's get into the news. Actually, talking about the Easter basket, another goodie that was in it, an Oreo chocolate egg. Oh my god, that shit went so hard. It was so good. Like we're talking a milk chocolate exterior, and then you bite into it, and it's just got a nice, just like sturdy Oreo cream filling, and I like it because like I think one of my aversions to some like chocolate eggs, I don't like a Cadbury egg. I really don't. I don't want that shit to ooze out on me. I don't like a chocolatey gusher style situation. It doesn't really vibe with me. Hold the cream, please. But like a nice little sturdy, Oreo cream stuffing kind of thing. Okay, nice and maybe a peanut butter. That also is a thing. I didn't cover this on the news though, but apparently I think Hershey has come under a row because it is alleged, and they've more or less admitted, that they do play around with the chocolate formula. I think in a way that we're talking about like cost cutting measures. So quality is kind of sacrificed. And I mean, they're saying like, no, it still tastes good. People still like it. We're still making it for the people. But I think, I don't know, son of one of the former owners, I don't know. We're in the weeds. We haven't even started. But he was, complaining, saying like, oh, it's changed. They're playing around with the formula. And I'm not going to lie to you. Maybe this is me being a little out of pocket. It was giving Papa John's like there needs to be a pizza revolution. I mean, he wasn't being crazy about it, but like, I don't know, coming out with like your whole Reese's outfit. He's an enjoyer. He's not just a family man of this shit. He's a stan of the shit. I don't know. Anyway, let me take my little sippy and we'll get into it. I'm over here talking Easter side news. My bad. All right, from the BBC. Intelligence chief of Iranian Revolutionary Guard killed. Now, for some reason, this was hard for me to find the story on a medium from a source the way I wanted. I initially had listened to this from the BBC. So, getting it from a BBC podcast, source made, for like a bit of a translate. They do have the episode here. You can click. But anyway, a bit of a 2-for-1. But yeah, this was a little bit harder for me to find. I felt like I needed to reference that because it's kind of in a bit of a, a scrum of news, so to speak. Anyway, let's get into it. Let's dive in. The intelligence chief of Iran's powerful Revolutionary Guard Corps, General Majid Khademi, has been killed in a U.S.-Israeli airstrike. An Iranian statement said he'd been martyred in an attack at dawn. His unit had been accused by the United States of violently suppressing anti-government protests in January. Israel has claimed responsibility for the strike, and Defense Minister Israel Katz says General Khademi was a key target. Also, NASA's Artemis 2 mission has crossed a key threshold in space on its journey to slingshot around the moon, the lunar sphere of influence. It means the moon's gravitational pull now takes over the trajectory of the Orion spacecraft. And India's border security force has asked security officials on the border with Bangladesh to look at the feasibility of deploying crocodiles and snakes to prevent illegal migration and smuggling. So there you go, bit of a news bundle there to start off our episode. Moving on to, I guess you could say, the Israeli-Lebanon part of the conflict. From Al Jazeera, Lebanese armed group Hezbollah fires projectiles at northern Israel while Israeli troops push deeper into southern Lebanon. Let's see. Israeli strikes across southern Lebanon and the capital Beirut have killed at least 14 people a day after Israel threatened to hit Lebanon's main border crossing with Syria, forcing its closure. Israeli strikes on Beirut's southern suburbs on Sunday killed at least 4 people, while 10 people, including a family of 6, were killed in Israeli attacks on southern Lebanon. A further 39 people were wounded in an Israeli strike on Beirut's Janah neighborhood, according to Lebanon's Ministry of Public Health. The strike hit about 100 meters from Rafik Hariri University Hospital, the country's largest public medical facility, a medical source told the AFP news agency. All right. Moving out of the Iran conflict, I mean, we're saying Iran here, but we'll notice that, Israel is involved in, literally a war on goddamn 7 fronts, but I don't want to get into that for today. We're going to the Supreme Court. We're going to talk about fucking Steve Stinky Bannon. Though I have heard he smells like a dad, which kind of for some reason didn't surprise me when someone said that tidbit about him. I was like, something about that guy does scream yeah, he probably smells like a certain kind of leather. Maybe that might be one of the more nicer qualities to him. Who knows? Who can say? I've never met the goddamn man. I hope I never do. Anyway, from the Associated Press, Steve Bannon wins Supreme Court order likely to lead to dismissal of contempt of Congress conviction. Steve Bannon, a longtime ally of President Donald Trump, on Monday won a Supreme Court order that is expected to lead to the dismissal of his criminal conviction for refusing to testify to Congress. Prodded by the Trump administration, the justices threw out an appellate ruling upholding Bannon's conviction for defying a subpoena from the House committee that investigated the January 6, 2021 attack by a mob of Trump supporters on the U.S. Capitol. The move frees a trial judge to act on the Republican administration's pending request to dismiss Bannon's conviction and indictment in the interests of justice. The dismissal would largely be symbolic. Bannon served a 4-month prison term after a jury convicted him of contempt of Congress in 2022. A federal appeals court in Washington had upheld the conviction. The justices issued a similar order in the case of former Cincinnati councilman P.G. Sittenfeld, who was pardoned by Trump last year. Sittenfeld had served 16 months in federal prison after a jury convicted him of bribery and attempted extortion in 2022. The high court order allows a lower court to consider dismissing his indictment. So, I mean, obviously, boo on both of these fucking counts. With the Steve Bannon thing, I do agree it is largely symbolic. I'm just glad that guy had to rot in jail for 4 fucking months at least. Okay, at least think about the fact that you're such a fucking piece of shit before you go back to your war room ass podcast or whatever the goddamn shit is you're doing. The Sinfeld thing on a local level, to me, it's like, fuck that guy. Tomato Town for that fucking guy. Putting his own self-interest above people. Corrupt as shit. But anyway, it is what it is. None of this shit is surprising. It's annoying to see the Supreme Court kowtow over shit like this. It's offset by some of the times where they do, quote unquote, the right thing. And it's like, hey, we're going to say, hey, don't do this fucking tariff shit. But then there's going to be a slew of other things that they're more or less going to okay and green light and just be like, yeah, we'll capitulate on that. That's fine for that. It is what it is. Just wanted to cover it for coverage sake. You could say. But yeah, we have one more story that popped literally as I came home from dog sitting, and I was like, okay, well, we'll cover it tonight as opposed to tomorrow, though I imagine there will be more details tomorrow. So a bit of breaking news. But before we get into that, let's break into our last break. Whoa, yeah. All right. From Variety. Rapper Offset shot and hospitalized in Florida. He is stable and being closely monitored, says Rep. Rapper Offset was shot in Hollywood, Florida on Monday and is currently in stable condition. A spokesperson for Offset said in a statement to Variety that he is being treated for the gunshot wound and is currently under observation. We can confirm Offset was shot and is currently at the hospital receiving medical care, said the rep. He is stable and being closely monitored. Details are relatively scarce surrounding the incident, but TMZ reported on Monday evening that the Migos member was shot near Seminole Hard Rock Hotel and Casino in Florida. Dude, that's the worst place to be. Not specifically that Hard Rock Hotel and Casino, but I feel like if I'm bleeding out and I'm looking at the Hard Rock sign, GG's. I need to, that's when I'm making the prayer to God. God, if I get out of this, one, I gotta stop. I gotta stop hanging out here for one. And two, we're gonna do better. We're gonna change. We're gonna make a change. Needless to say, I don't know. I don't have details on what the fuck happened in terms of what causes altercation or whatever. A rep for the Seminole Police Department said in a statement to TMZ, "We are aware of an incident that occurred at a valet area after 7 p.m. Monday outside of Seminole Hard Rock, Hollywood, that resulted in non-life-threatening injuries to an individual who was transported to Memorial Regional Hospital in Hollywood." Let's see here. I'm going to skim ahead a little bit. The 34-year-old, whose real name is Kiari Cephas, we're going to say Cephas, maybe Cephas, but I'm saying Cephas, rose to prominence over the past decade and a half as one-third of Migos alongside Quavo in Takeoff. The trio became one of the defining rap groups of the past decade with multiple hits including Bad and Bougie and albums like Culture. In 2019, he went solo with his debut album, Father of Four, followed by 2023's Set It Off and 2025 Kiara last year. He also released his Haunted by Fame album featuring Young Boy Never Broke Again, No Cap, and Lil Dump. Who the fuck is Lil Dump? Look, man, last time I checked, there was a Lil Pump, and now it's Lil Dump? I don't know, man. I really can't keep up with the goddamn Joneses. Let's see here. I know that there were two people who were apprehended, and that's really all I know in terms of suspects or anything like that. I imagine if there's any chunky, relevant updates, we will be coming back to this story. But yeah, that's it. That's all I have for this Monday. If you'd like to help out, support the effort, I do have a Patreon. Patreon.com/IsaiahNews. Become a newsie today. Free ways to hit me up, IsaiahNews1@gmail.com. Feel free to follow me or the podcast on any of the socials. Subscribe to the YouTube. Follow on TikTok. Follow on Spotify. Follow on Apple Podcasts, wherever you like to listen. Leave a like. Leave a cool comment. Sharing is always caring. 5 stars on Spotify. 5 stars on Apple Podcasts are always appreciated. But if you don't do any of that stuff, that's A-okay with me. That's fine. I really just appreciate you hanging out with me, letting me talk a little bit about my day, letting me talk a little bit about my view on the news and things that are happening, at least to the best of my ability, just doing some freaking coverage. Sorry, I don't know, whatever. Yeah, imagine me trying to be PG. That'd be so fucking funny. What a world. Anyway, thanks so much for tuning in. Thanks so much for being a friend. And hopefully I see you soon for some more good news. I love ya. Bye-bye. Mwah.